2026, or should I say this year, we're about to get something massive for the Nintendo Switch 2. You don't believe me? It's pretty much written in the history books at this point. So in 2017, we did get a bunch of different games for the Nintendo Switch. Now, although this was the first year of the Switch, there's a lot of connections that could be made. Now, we did get a Legend of Zelda game with the Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. We got Super Mario Odyssey, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, and also Skyrim. Now, this might not seem much to you, but also we had ARMS. Now, all of these things, what do these have to do with the Nintendo Switch 2? I'll tell you what it has to do. Now, in 2025, we did get a Legend of Zelda game. Although it wasn't a mainline Legend of Zelda, it still counted for the IP. Now, if you look at Super Mario Odyssey, although it wasn't a Mario game, it was still connected by the same team, so Donkey Kong Bonanza. Now, we got Mario Kart 8 Deluxe in 2017. Okay, this was a remake or a remaster of the Wii U version, but still a Mario Kart game. So that would be Mario Kart World. Skyrim, we got a Nintendo Switch 2 edition. And ARMS is not necessarily ARMS, but we did get Drag X Drive. Now, you're still with me here. There's a lot of correlations that could be made for Nintendo as a whole. But it doesn't just fall back to the Nintendo Switch, but in fact the Nintendo 3DS as well. So when the Nintendo 3DS originally released, we did get a Legend of Zelda game. Sound familiar? Well, of course, the Hyrule Warriors that we got in 2025. But also a Mario 3D Land. Now, this might not make too much correlations, but it still is essentially sort of like Donkey Kong Bonanza, or it could be Mario Kart World at some point. But oh wait, there was a Mario Kart game in 2011 for the Nintendo 3DS. Now that would be Mario Kart 7, and honestly, that was really great. But jumping over another year to the Nintendo Wii U. When this originally released in 2012, although it released near the end of the year where we can't make too many correlations, it still had some pretty good games, like Nintendo Land. Now, Nintendo Land is very interesting. Now, you could say that this was just a packing game, which essentially it was, but it did have some correlations to what we got in 2025 with Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. Now, that game is pretty interesting if I do say so myself, but we also had a Sonic game this year. Okay, why am I making a video on all this? Sure, there's some coincidence there, but doesn't mean we're gonna be getting anything, right? But hear me out. If we were going to give the Wii U a fair chance and we move over to 2013 because it doesn't necessarily make a full year yet. We did get a Sonic game, which would be essentially the Sonic game that we're getting this year as well because it wouldn't make the full year of the Nintendo Switch. But okay, we did get an Assassin's Creed game on the Nintendo Switch 2 as well, which strengthens my hypothesis here. But okay, we did get a bunch of other games here. So in 2013, 1 year after the Nintendo Wii U release, we got Super Mario 3D World. Okay, and we got the Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker HD remaster of the Legend of Zelda Wind Waker. So all of these things combined means that just maybe in 2026 we're going to be getting something big. Now we can make the same correlations to the Nintendo Wii. Now, the Nintendo Wii did release later in the year, so we're going to jump over to 2007, after, of course, our 2006 games. Now, in 2006, we didn't get too many games, but we did get The Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, which again is essentially our Hyrule Warriors. Now, it's not a mainline Legend of Zelda game, but it still makes sense. Okay, so moving over to 2017, where we got a bunch of different Nintendo Wii games. We did get Super Mario Galaxy, which would essentially fall into place with Super Mario Galaxy 1+2, but more like a remaster in some way, but still makes sense here. It still makes sense. But looking over at the games that we got later, now in 2008, this is where it really gets good because the Nintendo Wii kind of released later. It was 2006, but it was also like November 2006. So we can just say year one was the other games. But in 2008, we did get Mario Kart Wii and we did get a brand new Super Smash Bros. Game. We also got Animal Crossing, which was pretty cool as well. So these are 3 big games happening in 1 year. We also got Wii Ski, which I think is a pretty fantastic game if I will say so myself. But also, A lot of things that fall into place here means that just maybe we are going to be seeing something big. Because if all of these things don't seem very familiar to you, you gotta remember that most of them aren't really big games for year one. But year two brought in a lot of heavy hitters, or even remasters or remakes, just like we saw on the Nintendo Wii U. We got the Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, which was a remaster of a beloved game. And moving over to 2005, jumping over to the Nintendo DS, now this one is a little interesting. Although it did release in 2004 for pretty much America, and then other parts of the world had to wait to 2005, let's just go with 2005 was the release date of the Nintendo DS. We did get Mario Kart DS, we did get Animal Crossing, a brand new Animal Crossing game, but after that, it wasn't super big. We did get a Metroid pinball game, which we could say is Metroid Prime 4, if you know what I mean. We did get a Metroid game, however. But then we jump over to 2006. You saw a big Mario game, which was really cool. New Super Mario Brothers, the original. And overall, it's a fantastic thing. You saw a Kirby game, you saw Pokemon games, Pokemon Diamond and Pearl, which honestly is fantastic, which leads to the conclusion that we are going to be seeing a brand new Pokemon game this year, Pokemon Winds and Waves. This is going to be happening, which is fantastic. Now for a recap, all of those things did happen. This could just be a massive, huge coincidence. But I think it's not. I think Nintendo's second year is always a really big game, or at least a one big game is going to be releasing in that year. So let's just take a look at 2018 with the Nintendo Switch. We did get Super Smash Bros. We did get a Pokemon game. So we are going to be seeing a Pokemon game this year. What does this mean for Super Smash Bros? It means that we could see one big game like that. We did see Mario Party, and it seems like we are going to be seeing Mario Party on the GameCube application. Now this might not be big news to you, but it could be leading into something, which honestly I think is really fantastic. We did see a Kirby game that year, which is really cool. We did see a remaster of a Hyrule Warriors game. So which leads into the consideration of seeing a remaster of the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, or a different Legend of Zelda game, or a different game as a whole. Which, hey, this is really cool and really exciting. Now moving over to the Nintendo 3DS. Now, of course, in 2011, we did get Ocarina of Time, but 2012 was essentially the second year of the system. Which, hey, we got a brand new 2D Mario game. Just like the Nintendo DS, we got New Super Mario Bros. 2. So honestly, this is really cool. We got a Mario Tennis game, which is going to be happening this year. Which, hey, it's essentially going to be the second year of the Switch 2. Now, it's not fully going to be the second year until June, but by June, we are going to be seeing something big, which all of these pointers, all of these things lead into, in my head, that we're going to be seeing something. Now, of course, there's been a lot of leaks and rumors. There's been so much that we can say, hey, maybe a brand new 3D Mario is going to be happening. Now, same thing goes with the Wii U. 2013 was essentially, you can say that it was the second year, or we have to move on to 2014. Now, either or, we got the Legend of Zelda The Wind Waker, which was more into the second half of the year, but of course, we got Super Mario 3D World, which would have been the second year on the market, which is really cool. But if we didn't take that into consideration, we still got in 2014 a brand new Super Smash Bros. Game and a brand new Mario Kart game. We also got Hyrule Warriors, which honestly this year seems more like we did in 2025, but hey, we're gonna have to skip over that one, I guess. But if you take a look at 2007, after the Nintendo Wii release, we did get Mario Galaxy. We did get a bunch of different games, but okay, this could just be the first year. 2008, Mario Kart. 2008, Super Smash Bros. Brawl. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot of connections that point towards one big game. And if you look at the games for the Nintendo Switch, right now it's not looking too good. Like, honestly, the Switch 2 is supposed to have so many big games, but we're not really seeing those big games for the second year, the second time on the market. Sure, we can say that the Nintendo Switch 2 isn't going to be turning 1 year old until June, but that's usually what happens. We usually see just some games, they make their way until the system turns 1 year old, and then you see a massive game. So does this mean for either the 40th anniversary we are going to be seeing a remaster of a Legend of Zelda game? I think yes, that's going to be happening. We're going to be seeing probably the Legend of Zelda Twilight Princess, but it could turn into Twilight Princess and Wind Waker. It could be that. Or it could be something like the Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time remake from the ground up. Because you gotta remember, we did get something similar to that with the 3DS era, although that was a launch title, but still, it's just very, very interesting. We could be seeing definitely a brand new Mario game because this has happened twice in the last 20 years. Which, that might not seem like a lot, but you gotta remember that 3D Mario games are big games and they take a while to develop and a while to ship out there for the world to see. So, does this mean that we're finally going to be seeing our 3D Mario game? I think it does. It does for me that we are going to be seeing this 3D Mario game. What could this 3D Mario game have? Now, this 3D Mario game could definitely have a lot of different things. Like, we know that Nintendo is planning to make their entire brand an open world at some point. So, just maybe does this mean that we are going to be seeing an open world Mario game? I honestly think that we are going to be seeing some sort of open world Mario game at some point. It would make the most sense because, like, being able to explore wherever you want would mean the greatest thing for a Mario game. You can go from one point to the Mushroom Kingdom, go fight Bowser if you wanted to, jump there. But okay, that is fantastic. So in 2026, these are the games that we're probably going to be seeing because we've seen in the past. Okay, so all starting off in February and moving over until probably May, I would say, we got the games that were announced to us. Those games might not sound super fun, interesting, and exciting to you, but they still are games, you know what I mean? They still are games. But then moving over to the Q2, Q3 of 2026, this is where the big things start to happen. We are going to be seeing Pokemon Winds and Waves, okay? So that's pretty fantastic as a whole. It seems like Xbox is going to be bringing over some of their games, which is also really cool. We are going to be seeing Indiana Jones: The Great Circle. We're also going to be seeing this 3D Mario game that is probably going to happen. I'm just saying, it's probably going to happen because it makes so much sense. After the Mario movie, you see this. You see this in what, June, July, when does this come out? You see this then. And then later, you see a Nintendo Direct. They announce this Mario game for later on. Imagine how many sales they can have at the box office. I'm just saying, it makes a lot of sense here. Now I know we're just talking about sense on what they can do. Nintendo isn't exactly a company that follows tradition. But oh wait, I just showed you that they follow tradition in some way. They always have to have year 2, one big game. So what's that big game going to be? Exactly. Could this be a brand new Kirby game? Because if you look, we haven't really seen a Kirby game in a while. But I feel like 3D Mario is more impressive than Kirby in some way. Of course, in 2027, we are going to be seeing new Kirby games because it's going to be the 35th anniversary of Kirby, which is really exciting. So, I don't know. I find this all, it could be a coincidence or it's something's leading up here. Nintendo year 2, or should we say year 1.5, is going to be big. It's going to be a big time for Nintendo fans across the world. So honestly, I think that all of this is going to happen. We are going to be seeing something big, something to get gushing grannies over, just like getting super excited for the future of the Nintendo Switch 2. Maybe it's going to be worth picking up a Switch 2 because maybe you're not a big fan of what Nintendo has managed to release for 2025, the launch year of the system. Usually every single launch year we get something massive, am I right? But that wasn't the case. That wasn't the case at all. But anyways, what are your thoughts on this? Do you think that I was just gushing over something completely random, or do you think this actually makes sense? Like, it does make sense that year 2 for Nintendo Switch or year 2 for Nintendo platforms have something big. Overall, it's really interesting. It's definitely some interesting things. What do you want to see mostly for 2026? Do you want to see a brand new game, a remaster, remake, or some sort of colors, features, and customizations for the Nintendo Switch 2? Anyways, thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for watching. Consider to hit the like button if you haven't already. Maybe the subscribe button as well. And with that being said, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.